What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is Chicago rapper Vic Spencer. We spoke about power, the Waterboy, his love for stand-up comedy, the power of world building in music and movies, making music during his time in a group home, the legacy of his breakthrough project The Cost of Victory, the idea behind he and rapper-producer Sonnyjim Spencer For Higher series, and the creative process behind he and Doc Da Mindbenda's collab album Still Here. Come fuck with us. What's cracking? Welcome back. Real Notes is still going. They haven't canceled me yet. We're still here. Dylan Green, CineMasai. I do a lot of things. I'm all over the place. But like most of the people I bring on to this show are also people who are doing a lot of things and are all over the place. And this guy's no exception. This guy is a rapper. He's we were just talking about it off camera. He's a youth advocate and an old fart, a rapping bastard, a bunch of other shit. We got Chicago's own Vic Spencer in the building. What's up, man? How you feeling?
All good, man. I'm good. How you feel, man?
I'm good, bro. It's like 8:54 over here. It's about to be 9 o'clock because I'm on the East Coast. I know you're in Chicago right now, and just like
yeah, it's about to be 8.
Right. Yeah. It's just I don't know, man. I'm feeling good. Like it's spring, and it's like that weird transition time between like winter and spring where like it's easy to get sick and like COVID's around. So like things are paranoid, but also things are beautiful. And I really can't complain about shit, Like
That's true. That's real right there. For sure.
But yeah, man, thank you so much for taking the time to come on. I know you're a busy man. And I've been and as I'm sure you know, I've been fucking with you for the last like however many years, like probably about like 6 or 7 years at this point. Like
Yeah,
shit.
that's facts.
So
That's facts.
yeah, man.
You've been
Yeah.
on for the ride, man. I appreciate you.
Oh man, you already know. I'm happy to be here. The music's been dope, and just yeah, I'm a fan of it all. So we're gonna try to cover as much as we can here.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm gonna ask you the first question I ask everybody who comes on here, which is what was the last movie or TV show that you watched that you had a strong opinion about? I already know what the last movie you watched is because we just talked about it, but you could pick anything that you just like it doesn't have to be the thing you're probably thinking of, but it could be whatever.
I watched the last thing I watched was The Power, The Force. The Tommy from Power, his they showing his chapters. So that was the last thing that I watched. I was in the movie with the, you know what I'm saying? That was pretty dope, but you know what I'm saying? I ain't had like no strong opinion about it, but The Power, I feel like a lot of the general consensus, people don't and can't get into it, but I like it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the unpopular opinion. I like the Power Force. I like to see how Tommy comes out on top in another city on his own to do his own thing. If you follow that whole ordeal, I feel like I don't be having a lot of time to watch a lot of stuff. Like for 2 hours, I could have crafted like 5 songs. You know what I'm saying? So I be choosing my battles. So that was kind of like the last thing that I did watch. Something that me and my wife like to watch is the Power stuff. So I'll watch that with her. You know what I'm saying? And then now that I watch it frequently with her, I know about it now. So you know what I'm saying? A lot of my homies don't like the Power, but I like the Power. I like the new Force. You know what I'm saying?
Have they told you why? Have they told you why they don't like it? Because it seemed because like I talk to people who like it's been like real mixed and real divisive. Like anybody tell you why they don't fuck with it?
I guess they just looking for the craziness of Tommy. They expecting Tommy to be wilding out. You know what I'm saying? They ain't following like just the beginnings of things. You know what I'm saying? I think people just want it straightforward, straight to the point. And you know what I'm saying, all the theatrics they ain't into. But I like the theatrics. I like the little small details that you got to pay attention to and carry on to the next season or the next episode and stuff like that. So I like little small little details like that. You know what I'm saying? But they just want to see it like, oh man, I want to see Tommy kill 10 people each episode. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't that type. I think that a lot of people want to see the craziness, you know what I'm saying? And they not following through. But I like this new sports joint. I like it. I like the way what is going. It's gonna be the last episode this Sunday. And man, yeah, I'm waiting on the Tariq stuff to come back. I'll be into them. That's probably the only thing I'm into. The power, the snowfall, you know what I'm saying? I'll be watching all those type of I've been watching those type of things since I ain't been having no time to like sit down and watch a movie. If I go to the movies, bro, I go to the movies and go buy a bucket of popcorn and dip and leave. I don't even go. I go the last few times I went in the movie theater. I went and bought a bucket of popcorn, dressed it up with the butter all through the whole bucket, and got up out of there. Wrapped it up and got it up out of there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even watch the movie. So yeah. But Power and Snowfall, all those joints, I'm enjoying that. Even Snowfall, a lot of people opinions is kind of mixed on that too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
especially this new season. Yeah.
Yeah, they everybody like, man, John Singleton ain't got nothing to do with this, but you can tell, you can tell. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, but I still like it. I like all the theatrics. I like all that. I like that they had the tiger in there. A lot of people didn't like that they had the tiger in one of the new episodes, and I like that. I was like, man, they had tigers in them old school chairs and shit like that in the 80s, in the 90s, in the late 80s, and you know what I'm saying? They had that stuff. So they implemented it in a crazy, weird ass way, but you know what I'm saying? I thought that shit was dope.
See, two things. I want to address two things you just said. A, world building is super dope to me too, and like especially on a show like Power, because the details of the details are what makes everything about Power so great. You know, like I know people just want the explosions and the fights, and like of course like we all want that shit. Like who doesn't want that? But like
right.
it's the build up and like understanding like how it like having the context just makes it feel better. Like I don't know, like it's just like you know, like I guess like an example, since we were talking about Singleton, like if Boys in the Hood open with Ricky getting shot, right? Like I don't really feel like it would be, the impact wouldn't be as crazy if we didn't like get to know him, know that he liked football, knew that he had a kid, you know, like that type of shit, you know, like it's like the build up, and then just like it hurts that much more because you feel like you know the nigga, right? Like that's just,
yeah, absolutely.
Like that's how I feel personally. Like
yeah, no, that's how I feel too. I agree with you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Once you like, you get an interacting, well, you get involved with knowing a character in a movie. Like you damn near attached to him, damn near. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, damn, that happened. It's like that gut feeling when you're done watching it. Like, get me all the time. Yeah. So yeah, like Ricky getting shot, Kane getting shot. Like, what if Kane never got shot and he moved out the? You know, I always think about that. I think that those kind of movies and those sudden things that happen, it gives you that resemblance. Like, man, what if? And I think that's probably like what directors would like to catch. Like, man, what if he did make it? You know what I'm saying? What if he did? What if Ricky never would have got shot? What if he would have never went to go get the cornmeal? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, all of those things, asking those questions, man, it always just reminds you how much of a good movie it was.
Right. Yeah. That's the shit that makes it stick in your head, and you're thinking about it in like a month and like 6 months from now type shit. Like, and what else was I gonna say? The theatrics, because from what I haven't been keeping up with Snowfall. This is the third episode in a row I've talked about Snowfall. It's crazy, but like I haven't been keeping up with it. but I've been seeing the clips, and I saw like that they were at the wedding and like they were all on drugs or whatever the fuck. And like I love like the show was established enough that it could take those like weird risks and have those like having a conversation with yourself while you're on drugs at a wedding type episodes. Like I love stuff like that. So to see them kind of
Yeah.
cutting loose, but like I also don't have as much context, so I don't know like how it fare. I don't know how it compares to everything, but like I'm always pro like take the risk and make it weird if you want. Like that's just me,
Yeah.
but like I
Change the
also get it.
narrative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. But like I
Yeah.
get it too
Expect
if
the
it's too much.
unexpected type. Yeah. I
Right. Nah.
definitely feel like it's too much. Like, wait a minute, like, dang. You know what I'm saying? But even then, it made you think like, oh, everybody off drugs. Maybe that was like around the time that LSD was first initiated. Because I ain't never heard, that a Snowfall is going back from the early 90s and early 90s, late 80s and stuff like that. So,
Right.
I just try to think of it in that aspect. Like, man, maybe LSD wasn't around like that. Maybe he just introduced them to that. You know what I'm saying? Or they knew about it and it was new on the scene. You know what I'm saying? It was like how everybody got drugged. That was the new wave. You know what I'm saying? Something. It still make me question. You know what I'm saying? It still
Right.
make me ponder. Try to find
Right.
a way to just ask about it. Like, just be involved. You just involved with the show like that, or a movie like that. You just involved like that to make you interrogate why it's going on. Like,
Right. Yeah, no, all that shit is so important. And like even just like not on a movie tip, it's just like the thing that I love about the thing that I love about movies that is kind of a similar thing that I love about music like yours, like listening to like when I first discovered your shit, when I first heard like the Cost of Victory and like St. Gregory and all that stuff, like
uh-huh.
like the stuff you rap about feels like I could touch it in that way.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
kind of get from your music what like you get from stuff like that, like you were just talking about. And like that's why music and movies are these two things that just like really like get to me, because they can do that separately and they can do it together. And that shit is
yep,
like amazing to me. Um so
yeah.
like just because I'm curious, usually the second question I ask is like, what was your first movie memory? But because you said something different earlier, I want to tack on a caveat. I want to know the first movie experience you can remember having. It could be at the theater, your cousin's house, whatever. But I want to know the first time you bought a ticket just to buy some popcorn and leave the fucking theater, because that's the craziest shit I ever heard in my life. But
Well, I used to not. I love popcorn. I love movie popcorn. I love
right,
Target popcorn. I love Carnival popcorn. I love those kind of popcorn.
I feel
So
you.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily buy a movie ticket. I would just walk in the theater because I think you could just buy things from the theater and not have to watch a movie just to buy things.
Wow,
So
that's
I
crazy.
go in there. Yeah, I just walk in and just be like, yeah, I'm just going to go. I'm not trying to sneak in. I just want to buy popcorn. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I go buy my popcorn and go dress it up. But the first, so I don't know if I can answer your question like that. So I ain't buy a ticket to go see
Okay.
something and then didn't go see it because I wanted popcorn. I just usually just go in and be like, yo, I'm ordering popcorn. Can I just go and get it? And they normally just be like, yeah, just go and get it.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
get up out of there.
That's just a misunderstanding on my part. I thought I read too much into it, but but oh, what's it called? But either way, like, do you remember the first movie experience you had where you like really like watched something and just like connected with it?
uh, uh, well, I'll say two parts. It's like a two part in the outline. I remember my first time going to the movies and really enjoying it is when I saw Above the Rim, and I snuck in to see after Above the Rim went off. I snuck in to go watch Jason's Lyric. You know what I'm saying? And how. And you know what I'm saying? I went to another theater and snuck in and saw that. But yeah, that was a good one. But I also was heavily involved in Happy Gilmore and Waterboy. Like I remember going to go see Waterboy 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. I was attached to that film like that. You know what I'm saying? I went to go see Waterboy 4 times in the theater. So that I would say that time right there is probably like I was heavily invested in the story. I wanted Adam Sandler to get the Vicky Valancourt. I wanted, you know what I'm saying? I like the fact that he was kind of like this hero on a football team. Everybody didn't like him. You know what I'm saying? And then he found ways for people started liking him because he was fully invested into himself. He loved himself, and he was himself. So I was hella attached to that movie. You know what I'm saying? Waterboy. Adam Sandler is a good guy. Waterboy though. Waterboy. That's a classic. That's a classic for me. And
Ah.
Fat Beach too. I like Fat Beach too, man. Brian Hooks, man. Fat Beach. I watched that in the movies, and then I went and I bought it on cassette. I mean, I bought it on VHS. Then when they started doing DVDs, I bought DVD. And yeah, man, all of old comedy joints, man. I love the comedy joints. So I would say Happy Gilmore though. Not Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore is another one of my favorites, but
Right.
Waterboy. That's I would say Waterboy is that was like one of the movies that one of my favorite movies of all time almost.
Man, yeah, like yeah, like so many of those early Adam Sandler movies were just like were so formative to so many people. Because like I want to say I came on around like I want to say either Big Daddy or Little Nicky were the first two that I saw. I can't remember
Oh
exactly
wow.
which one
Yeah,
it
that's
was.
after everything.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, he was
Yeah,
already
that's
like
after
established and
he was
everything.
going.
But like
Mm-hmm.
but like but like Waterboy in particular is one that I know a lot of people love. Like I like the movie. I think it's really good. I also love Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore is the one that I
Yeah.
remember the most because I just think about when I just think about him and Bob Barker fighting on the fucking green, and that shit kills me every time.
I
But
love that.
like
I love that. Yeah, hell yeah.
man, so you kind of mentioned it earlier, but like what is it about comedy that you kind of gravitated toward? Because that kind of seems to be your the thing that really hooks you about this shit.
uh, I just like to laugh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like the energy that laughing gives you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that movies that makes you laugh, you know what I'm saying? It kind of like makes your day go smooth if you're having a bad day, or you know what I'm saying? It's like a refresher. You know what I'm saying? So comedy
Right.
give me that. It reminds me of like, man, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to be frustrated about something, but you know what I'm saying? You're gonna always find a time to laugh. You're always gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like so everything I try to do, I try to just, try to make people laugh or you know what I'm saying? I watch stand-up comedy and try to laugh, you know what I'm saying? And all of that good stuff. So all my comedy is always my go-to because I like to laugh. I like laughing. Laughing at funny shit should be funny.
I mean, great answer. Like, like just like I feel like everybody likes to laugh, like regardless
Yeah.
of what it's at. Like it like it feels good, and like rap music is something else that like just makes people laugh like all the time. Like, would it be safe to assume that like was that part of the reason why you kind of started to gravitate toward rap when you were younger, or are those two things not connected in that way? Like, yeah, I
Well,
guess, I guess,
it's just
yeah,
I think it's a coinky dink. It's a
yeah,
coinky dink. It's kind of connected in a way, but like funny rappers is it kind of like help mold my style. Like Sean Price was a funny ass rapper. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
He say funny ass shit. You know what I'm saying? So Redman is funny ass rapper. Ludacris funny
hmm,
ass rapper. Busta Rhymes in his older time. I mean, in his younger days, funny ass rapper. So
yeah,
you know those like rap music kind of like did it, but I still like funny shit, so it could be a reason why I like to have like little funny sayings in my rap because of the movies. You know what I'm saying? I might throw a movie reference in there, so yeah, I would say a little bit, but more of rappers of that kind that's like comedic rappers more than the actual comedy movies or shows.
right. Real quick before we move on to music specifically, do you have a favorite stand-up comedy? Um, why am I blanking on the word? Fucking, do you have a favorite stand-up comedy set? Like, is it like your? Do you have like a go-to?
Mike Epps, underrated and faded and underrated
Hated and
when he
underrated,
brought out
yeah.
Dougie Fresh. Yeah, oh man, I'd be crying every time I watch that. That's hilarious. That is one hilarious stand-up. Mike Epps, one of his during one of his like I don't know if that was one of his first stand-up comedy shows, but that's gotta be his best one. Like that's a classic. That's an
Right.
automatic classic. Like every time I throw it on, I laugh. Or that and Kings of Comedy, Bernie Mac's Kings of
Yeah.
Comedy
Come
set.
on.
Yeah, yeah. That's man, when he did that, he was teasing me. I was crying. I couldn't breathe watching that shit when I first seen that. We used to rewind that part so much, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, but Mike Epps, he funny as shit, man. That funny that over underrated and never faded or something what it is. That joint is fire. That's a
Man,
fire one.
like Mike Epps is he's such an interesting like because like to me my entire life he's kind of had like uncle vibes, like even when he was like not in a bad way but just like he always kind of
Mm-hmm.
struck me as like a he always struck me as like a funny uncle like the first time I saw him, and like he's just been
Yeah,
that forever, you know. Like to kind of see
yeah,
him cut loose a little more and like do it in stand up has always been really fun for me because he's one of those people I'm always used to seeing like as an actor, like whether it's in like the Friday
yeah,
movies or him popping up in like a Kendrick video or whatever the fuck. But like, you know, like, but
yeah.
like he's always been somebody I've always loved. He always makes me laugh. And like, if I had to pick a couple of my favorites, I love Richard Pryor's Live on the Sunset Strip. The
Uh-huh.
classic that shit'll
That's
have me dead
classic.
every time I watch it. Um, Cat Williams' Pimp Chronicles is probably maybe my favorite one of all time.
Oh
Like,
man. Yeah.
bro, and
Yeah.
I'm probably also gonna say like either the Kings of Comedy or there's like a specific Bernie Mac one. I can't remember the name of it, but like Bernie Mac was just amazing. Like I remember where I was when he died. Like that's how much I love Bernie Mac. And like the Bernie Mac show is one of my favorite things to watch growing up. Like, man, just Bernie Mac was fucking amazing. Anything he did would have me on the floor at all times.
For sure. For sure. For sure. For sure.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
already
yeah.
know. So yeah, real quick, let's jump over to music. So like for you, like kind of coming up, what was when did you kind of first fall in love with rap, and who were some of your other influences? Because you already mentioned a bunch of them before.
But like it was, man, I really fell in love with hip hop, like listening to whatever my brother listened to. Like back in the day, he used to listen to hella abbreviated rappers, MC Breed, MC Ren, MC Brains,
Yeah.
MC8, DJ Quick, all of these guys. You know what I'm saying? I used to be stealing his tapes or, you know what I'm saying, adopting what he listened to whenever he's not around and listen to it myself. And then when I got my own ear for music, that was when around the time Nas and Redman and Boogie Monsters and Brother Lynch Hung and the Loonies. Like I was listening to all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? That was my shit. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, like when I first started listening to rap music on my own. Top
Mm-hmm.
Authority, you know what I'm saying? Chicago shit like EC and Twister and Do or Die, all of that. Like I was a big bowl of gumbo, you know what I'm saying? Full of surprises, listening to everything, you know what I'm saying? But mainly guys that I mentioned, Loonies, Boogie Monsters, Nas, you know what I'm saying, Redman, those guys, man. I felt like I was the only one out of my family or everybody that I was around that was listening to music. I felt like I was the only person listening, and that everybody was listening to, Dating Family or motherfucking Top Authority or, you know what I'm saying, abbreviated rappers, you know what I'm saying? But nobody was listening to the Loonies like that. You know what I'm saying? Five Only was a radio smash, but I was listening to other songs. You know what I'm saying? I was listening
Right.
to they B cuts.
Right. And on top of all of that, like I think about this a lot. Like you're one of the only rappers I think about who like really talk about Redman like that these days, which is kind of strange because like I'm from Jersey, so like I'm big on Redman. Like that's my whole shit. Like Doc's been one of my favorite rappers since I was a kid. But like
Yeah.
it's just always so interesting to hear like it just always makes me so happy to hear anybody talk about like Muddy Waters or just like anything he did, you know? Like so like it's just weird to
Hmm.
hear him like not really like I don't want to be like presumptuous or like premature about it, but like it always feels like Redman never gets his flowers. It's like strange because like he was
Really?
like really killing it forever. He still is, you know,
Yeah.
to a certain extent. So it's weird to like see him not be in conversations like that. So just like thank you for bringing up Redman because he's the best.
Yeah, Redman is, you know what I'm saying, in my top five dead or alive, for real.
Yeah, bro. Like he's just yeah, he's just so much fun and just like there's always so much adventure to what he does. And it's just I don't know. Like Muddy
Hmm.
Waters and I know How to Roll a Blunt's not on Muddy Waters, but How to Roll a Blunt's just like what an incredible song. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's just like the he's just like the platonic ideal of like just like chill rapper homie type shit. I don't know. That's just like always what I got from him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Definitely.
that's hard. So like as you're
Shy.
coming,
You know what I'm saying?
oh, I'm sorry. The internet cut you
No.
off. What were you saying?
I said real high, get high vibes, chill vibes. Redman, I was speaking on Redman, what you were saying.
Right. um,
Yeah, I don't
so
know. I think I just pulled up to the crib. It might be the Wi-Fi might connect it to my phone or something. I don't know.
got you,
Something happened.
got you. So like as you were coming up and like kind of starting to develop your own tastes when it came to both music and to a certain extent like movies and comedy, like when did you first consciously link or like was there ever a period of time where you consciously linked film and music together in your head?
Uh yeah, like sometimes like when I'm driving or like if I'm like preoccupied with something, I get distracted for something that's in my head. Like I stop what I'm doing to write down whatever's that's in my head. Like I don't care. Like if I'm driving or if I'm eating, I stop. I stop driving and eating and pin down something that was in my head that I felt like I need to say in a rap or you know what I'm saying, find another or just like a sentence that would raise the idea that's around things that I want to rap about that'll always remind me. So yeah, like I feel like a lot of my music, people can see the music instead and hear it and see it at the same time because of that. Because I take the time out for when I hear something in my head or see it in my head, I go and write it down. You know what I'm saying? I remember being on a date, and, you know what I'm saying, had was distracted of a rap bar, wrote it on a napkin. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I don't know. That's how I feel like some of the best stuff has come up that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like
If I answered the question correctly.
no, I think so. But like it be like but like just to elaborate a little bit, like so like you're kind of saying that like are they things that you think of or are they things that you just like notice somewhere out in the open or is it just like oh just like the shit just came into my head and I needed to write it down?
All of that in one, all of that.
Tight.
You know what I'm saying? If I see
Yeah.
something, it's like, oh, I need to, you know what I'm saying? I can write down what I saw and then make up a crazy bar or two about that. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah, it's kind of like all of that. Like at any given moment, like if I see something or if I, if I'm driving past and see a, a car flipped over, you know what I'm saying? And it made like national headlines. Then I'm gonna make I'm gonna make a reference to that. You know what I'm saying? In like a crazy way. How it made me feel when I saw it. So maybe then that me identifying with whatever happened can transcend through other people.
Right. That's hard. Like just kind of like taken from life in that way, it's just like art imitating life is cool. I fuck with that. Um so like so like while so like when did you first decide that rap wasn't just going to be a hobby for you and it was going to be something that you really like pursued on some like I want to do this forever type shit?
I want to say, when I entered the group home. I entered the group home. I was always like writing and rapping on like cassette tapes and record myself on this karaoke machine that I had. But when I got into the group home, I used to I used to hoop. I used to like to hoop. I used to play ball. Like rap was super secondary. And not having like the privilege to move around while I was in those group homes kind of restricted me of things like going to basketball camps and just going to different tryouts and stuff like that. I remember Alonzo Mourning having like a basketball camp and I couldn't go. And I remember like not being so frustrated with not being able to go. And then I just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna just start rapping. You know what I'm saying? And I just started rapping, bro, out of nowhere. Just said, fuck it, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna continue to and rap my ass off. And I think that was my point. Like, I can really do this. And then when the group home turned around and gave me a record deal, that was kind of like my first taste of business and music. Like I signed this deal. I learned about ASCAP and all of this stuff. Wow. I was just emancipating out of a group home DCFS agency. So it was just like, man, okay, now I can take it a lot more serious. Now I won't be recording in little Ray basement. I'm actually going to a studio. My CDs are coming from disc makers. I'm a teenager when all of this is going on, 19 years old. And I just felt like, this is what it feels like. We were traveling all across the country, just going to like different group forums. I remember going to some event where it was nothing but foster parents in Sacramento. You know what I'm saying? We flew. That was my first time on a plane. You know what I'm saying? We flew out there and we sold hundreds of CDs out of the box at this event. After performing for 20 minutes, we selling $20 CDs from disc makers at this time. So that was like, this is my taste of really like, I really can do this. And once we got too old to do what we was doing all around the country, that's when I branched off and started taking it ultra serious and doing my own thing, which is where we at right now.
Right. And like it's been a long journey, like like from the group home to like there even. And then like at that point you just started going crazy. You dropped all these projects, worked with so many people. I could sit here and name names, but I won't do that. But like but you kind of like built this whole, you just like built a whole like Vic Spencer universe. And then the Cost of Victory comes out. And that kind of feels like to an extent like I mean, like you had records that kind of broke in a way before that, but like the Cost of Victory kind of felt like it was just like, oh, like it felt like everybody was like, oh, who's Vic Spencer? Like that's kind of, at least for me personally, that's when I first started to notice it. Like obviously everyone's different, but like just because I'm
Yeah.
curious and because like that project is such a foundational, it's so foundational to my understanding of you, like as an MC, like like when you first put that together, did you expect that project to kind of really be the one that would bring in so many people? Because like
No.
I listened to the song with you, Sean Price, and Illa G on it like often. Like I love that song.
Mm-hmm.
Just had to say that. Like
Yeah.
that's yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. No, I did not think that was the one, but I did think that song was great because I actually recorded that song with Sean Price and Illa G in the studio in the flesh, and you know, to hear them give me feedback about my verse and how Illa G came in and bodied us, with how me and Sean Price just laughed about that with Illa G. Like, man, you came here late, you bodied us. What do you got to say for yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like we like to be able to do all of that. That's the kind of like, you know, the goals that I would love to have reached, you know what I'm saying, if I wasn't thinking like that, you know what I mean? But Sean Price was my is my one of my favorite artists of all time. So it's just like, man, I'm in the studio with him. It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? And I had this song called The Writers on the Cost of Victory, which is one of the joints that's always forever I'm gonna be attached to, because I sat and watched. That song didn't belong to me at first. I sat and watched that song develop. I sat and watched that beat get done. I sat and watched the guy sing the chorus. I sat and watched all those verses come together. And the song wasn't mine, but I loved the song. And years went by, none of them dropped the song. So I always had like a reference of the song because I was in the studio. And I just hit up all parties like, yo, I want this song for myself. So I went in and added another verse. You know what I'm saying? And man, I had to have that song on the album. Like, that song right there, that's one of my pride and joys right there. To have a song that I sat and watched happen, didn't have no parts of it, I don't think I was ready to be on that song when it was recorded, and to the point where I felt like I was ready to be on that song and actually get the song from all parties and put it on my album. So having that full circle is also one of those, yeah, this is the one.
Right.
Yeah, but Cost of Victory kind of like surprised the hell out of me. Like the success, I feel like it's a lot of parts that made that album successful, or it was like a ha ha. It was informative and ha ha, because this was the same year that Mick Jenkins came, and me and Mick Jenkins had this little thing going on.
Yeah.
And my album had came out before all of that, but then, you know, my album started getting like mad PR. Like I feel like people think I went after Mick Jenkins because I was a nobody, but I just went after him because I just wanted to let him know that he couldn't fuck with me on some rap shit, on some real rap shit. Like, scrap away all of your verifications and all of that. You can't mess with me on this rap shit. I just wanted to prove that point. And, you know, I wasn't trying to, like, you know, do a publicity stunt and all of this stuff. If I was, I would have been promoting my albums, but really I just wanted to focus on bodying him. That's all I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? People thought that since, you know, people didn't know who I was, people were saying like, yeah, you know, you trying to find somebody to pick on, ooh, and I got this, you know, this fixated thing about Vic Spencer where I'm always starting trouble and all of that. But I wasn't the one that started that. I just was the guy that finished it. And then my album, that album was ranked number 19 out of the top 40 albums on Rolling Stones at the end of that year. And it was kind of like a slap in the, like a ha ha, like, I told you, you know what I'm saying? And it got higher ratings than Pitchfork. And I didn't ask for none of that stuff. I didn't have no PR. You know what I'm saying? So
it just happened.
It was kind of like, it was very surprising. Yeah, it was very surprising. I feel like, shout out to David Drake, because he was he really, like, if Vic Spencer was a vinyl that was hard to find, and all these record stores that you went to and all of the people that was telling David Drake stories were the record stores, you would go crazy how my name came up in a lot of people's history. So I feel like David Drake was kind of that guy that would go and talk to different people from Chicago and my name would come up somehow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he got to be able to see me in the flesh. He linked up with me and seen me in the flesh recording The Cost of Victory. And I feel like he took like a strong liking to that project because of that. You know, I feel like it's just like with the movies. You feel attached to something. You feel attached to if you witnessing something, you watching something, you feel attached to that moment. And I feel like that's what the cost of victory was for David Drake, because I feel like it's my first baby to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like that is like this is this is one of my greatest albums right here. This is what people are gonna go to and listen to this shit and know that I got a real Sean Price verse, and you know what I'm saying? I got all types of shit on there. The artwork was by my homies. And, you know what I'm saying? All of that stuff is a factor. You know what I'm saying? And the
Right.
cost of victory, the story alone itself, I took I took one of my pops church tapes. My pops used to have these church tapes, and just hoarder these tapes, and they just clogged up the one of his rooms. And I just took a lot of those tapes and recorded raps, recorded one take freestyles over them. And one of the sermons was called "The Cost of Victory," and I took that and named my album "The Cost of Victory."
That's hard. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, so I think that like all the components that the cost of victory really has, like I feel like the accolades of those accolades wasn't on the forefront. So that's why I feel like that would be the understanding of that album is, you know what I'm saying, one of them ones. But it's because of everything else outside of that. Like people really enjoyed that. People really like that, like the cost of victory. People really think that that's they're gonna say that's at the top 5 Vic Spencer albums. Everybody's gonna say that.
Right. Like that's just like a, like for me personally, it's definitely one of my favorite projects of yours. And just like there's just there was so much revolving around that moment. It's just like I can imagine that it was like really vindicating for you to just kind of like get put on in that way. And also I want to shout out David Drake too, because David Drake's dope. Like he's we've never met in person, but that's the homie. Shout out to Dave. He's amazing and always puts on for good people. And yeah, like he was a big part of the reason why I've been hearing about you and the cost of victory and the work you've been doing with Tree and all that stuff. So like he definitely played a huge part
Yeah,
of that. And then moving
yeah.
on from the cost of victory, like the series that really gets me when it comes to you is the one you have with Sonnyjim Spencer For Higher. I love the idea. I love the fact that y'all kind of found each other and like turned it into like a thing that you do every once in a while. So like I know it's based on a TV show, so like walk me through, walk me through how you and Jim first met, and B, where did the idea to take the Spencer For Higher concept come from? Why was doing that with him a thing you decided needed to happen?
Well, initially, me and Sonnyjim, like we still haven't met. We just talk to each other through WhatsApp, FaceTime, stuff like that. But somebody tweeted that his name was Gene Diamond, the real Gene Diamond tweeted that me and Sonnyjim should do something together. And that's
Mhm.
how it solely happened. Like I went and looked up what he did, what he was doing. I was like, oh man, dude is, I was into those kind of rappers. So you know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, okay. Uh being that he was from the UK, I was just like, okay, this is something new. This is something new for me. You know what I'm saying? I could probably implement working with Sonnyjim in this capacity. I like his production. I like everything about him. So everything about him started to, I started to like his music, like his work. So, I just reached out to him. Just was like, man, let's work on something. He already knew who I was. And from there, it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? From that moment on, from that point on, it was just like, yeah, let's get it done. Now, I didn't necessarily have a name for the album. Uh, I didn't have a name for the album. I ain't had like really no direction. Like I had went to Cali, right? But like how I work, I got to take breaks in how I say it, because how I work is I pick all the beats. Like once I'm chimed in on working with an artist like such and Sonnyjim, and he's the producer, I pick all the beats first and put them in the folder and just sit with them for a while, with them like a month before I go dive in and start recording it. Within that month, I happened to take a trip to LA, and I went to go see Uncle House Shoes. Shouts to Shoes. You know what
Shout
I'm
out to
saying?
Shoes. Yeah, you already know.
Yeah. So I pulls up on Shoes, and I'm just, kind of like Shoes is kind of like my guy that I go and visit every time when I'm in LA, or just hit him up, just let him know I'm in town, chop it up with him from time to time. But this specific time, he was DJing somewhere, and after we left, we went back to his crib, and we were just listening to all different kinds of shit, and I was just telling him um how I was doing an album with Sonnyjim. He's like, yeah, I like Sonnyjim, dude. It's nice. I'm like, yeah, for sure. I rock with him too. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to the beats with him. I just started playing the beats with him because, of course, Shoes is a producer as well. So I'm just like, yeah, man, these beats is fire. You know what I mean? And then I just started thinking the name. I was like, what you think about Spencer For Higher? Like the show Spencer For Higher, Hire. What you think about that? He's like, I like that, Vic, but you should call it Spencer For Higher, as in getting high. I said, man, that's genius, bro. That is genius. So that's why House Shoes is kind of like implemented in every album,
Right.
because what I'm saying, he was right there when I was, getting just getting the feel of recording the Spencer For Higher. So Shoes is is responsible for Spencer For Higher in regards to how it's spelled. You know what I'm saying? Because we were getting high as shit. I
Right.
was like, man, Spencer For Higher. I was like, man, that's genius. I told Sonnyjim. Sonnyjim was like, yeah, that's genius. And Sonnyjim didn't have a clue what the hell Spencer For Higher was. He didn't know about the sitcom. He didn't know about nothing. He didn't know. He said, I never heard of the program. You know what I'm saying? I heard it in the interview that he had. Like, I never heard of the program. You know what I'm saying? So I went and looked up the program. Like, oh yeah, this is genius right here. You know what I'm saying? So he caught on real quick, and then the rest is history.
That's incredible. Two things. A, how did Hex get involved? Because I know Ironside Hex is involved with all the different intros too. Yeah, let's start there. You
Yeah.
see, like how did Hex get involved with all of them? Because all his intros always crack me up. Like,
Hex always been a Vic Spencer fan for a while now, for a real long time. I think it was because of Sean Price. Shouts to Sean Price. He really was
always.
putting the foot on necks to let people know that he was fucking with my shit. He was letting people know, like, he was spreading the word, like, for real, for real. And Hex had this opposite thing, like, I hate you, but if you say that, he loves you. You know what I'm saying? It's the opposite. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So once you figure that out, you know what I'm saying? Hex is a cool guy. And I always fuck with Hex, like from back in the day when he was just like a rugged motherfucker. He was a street motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And he stole Young Berg's chain. He said he, well, I don't know if he stole it. He was the guy that was on the picture and stole Young Berg's chain. And at first I was like, man, Young Berg is corny. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when it happened, we all got a kick out laughing at that shit. You know what I'm saying? So when he got shot and he got paralyzed, I ain't know that he couldn't talk anymore. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't know.
Right.
He has to use one of those speech. You got to use one of those speech things, and I just took that like from Sean Price. Like I took that like man, nobody can get this but me. I can get this. You know what I'm saying? I can get this from Hex Murder. Nobody, or if somebody's got a Hex Murder on their song, it's because they heard me, you know, that you hold on to in a Mortal Kombat or a Street Fighter. Marvel vs. Capcom. That's the special move when you build up to having Hex Murder on
Right.
the album. So I'll have it on all the albums. And the fact that he was able to for this recent album, the joint that Hex, the intro that Hex is on, uh Big Ghost is also one of those components of Spencer For Higher.
Yep.
And Big Ghost kind of like remixes all of this, like his favorite song. He'll listen to the album, be like, yeah, I'm gonna remix this song right here. I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? And he always remixes a song that has like a stellar feature, or you know what I'm saying, just because, you know, that shit, I would want to do that joint too. You know what I mean? The one that the features, the one that has the feature that stands out the most. And I think that me and Stove God on the record is very like a perfect contrast. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, for sure.
And having Hex Murder on there, and then having Big Ghost remix that, and having Hex Murder redo vocals for that. Like, that was just genius. I didn't ask for that, and I thought that was dope. That was very thoughtful of Big Ghost and Hex. So shout out to Big Ghost and Hex for you know, keeping the, you know, creativity juices alive and utilizing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's just like I'd go on a limb and say that Spencer For Hire is my favorite thing, that maybe my favorite series of things you've done, because they're just like, because like they're always so loose and just like fun, and like the beats sound like really, you know, like Jim's style is so like expansive and open and just so like like cinematic, you know. It just gives me like, it really just puts me there. It's really like y'all created the TV show for yourselves. And before we move on from Spencer For Hire, I guess just like, did you have a personal connection to the show, or was it just like a thing you thought of because it was like a show you liked and it just like happened to be
Uh,
cool?
it was I mean, I watched it from time to time when it came on the TV. I was a shorty when it came out. You know what I'm saying? Spencer For Hire came out, I was like 9 years old, 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't really comprehend it, but I liked it because his name was Spencer and my last name is Spencer. So that's why that was my attachment to it. You know, like, it's cliche as it sounds. That's definitely what it was. Like, yeah, his name is Spencer. My last name is Spencer. So yeah, Spencer For
Hey.
Hire. Hire me. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like
Get
whatever
the job
works.
done.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, nah.
exactly, yeah. Simple as that.
Cause cause like the guy yeah, because like his whole thing was that he was like a like I'm gonna date myself like a little further, because like the show was before my time, but from what I understand, he was like, you know, like it's in the title, so like he was like a like a beat detective or something, right? And he would just like get hired to
Mm-hmm.
solve cases, right? Yeah, okay,
Yep.
okay. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you're like, that's the whole, and you're like, that's always like the vibe that I get from like they're not concept albums, but like I
Yeah.
just get that whole like, oh, it's time for another one, and you're like, y'all give it like it's like season 1 and 2 in one album and 3 and 4 in another, and you're like, you're bringing in like
And then
similar,
different features,
right? Yeah,
for each one. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
The only one is different. Only one that stays the same is the Husky Kingpin. As long as we do GS3s, it's gonna be a GS3 on
right.
every Spencer For Hire album.
And shout
So
out to Huss too,
yeah,
because yeah, Huss Kingpin is fucking amazing. Those Bjork albums that he put out, them shits are nuts. But
yeah, yeah. Them shits is mad nuts. Shouts to the Wave Lord.
always like, and also the song you have with Jamonte on Spencer For Hire 4 is one of my favorites too. Just like, yeah, like yeah, like Jamonte, yeah, Lord
Haha.
Jamonte. Shout out to Ogben. He's amazing too. Like, just
Yes, sir. Lord. John Monty, man, yeah, he got that distinctive style that I like, man. I like when artists are able to, you know, everybody can rap. Everybody's said all of the words in the dictionary. Everybody
yeah.
have. And the fact that you can do it ain't what you say, it's how you say it.
Uh-huh.
And I look at John Monty as an artist that can bring something to the table. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shouts out to John Monty. He really gets busy. I really like his style.
Yeah, me too. Like, just hearing the like yeah, he's just like super dope, and just like the way he puts words together, the way he says the words, and the beats he chooses, and like the song titles, like he's got it, bro. He's got it.
Yeah.
Um, and what else? There was I just lost my train of thought. I don't want to get too distracted, but because I'm thinking about it, I had to also shout out Iron Wigs, because the thing that y'all did with
Word.
yeah, nah, like I love, like the Iron Wigs project didn't get enough love for me. Like I remember when it came out,
Yeah.
and like and like that last song that y'all did, like, yeah, it's like shout out to you, shout out to Verbal Kent, shout out to fucking Sonnyjim. Like y'all are just a really tight trio, and just like, yeah, like I don't have a question or anything. I just, Iron Wigs was fucking dope. Like congrats on that one. That shit was crazy.
Yeah. Iron Wigs came from Iron Wigs really came from Verbal Kent featuring on the first Spencer For Higher.
Right.
We all kind of liked like the vibe of that record, and we just wanted to extend what we did on that record into a whole album. And Mellow Music Group just happened to take a liking to it, and then the rest is history.
Right. Yeah.
That's pretty
Like,
dope.
yeah. Like anybody who hasn't heard it, go listen to Iron Wigs. I can't remember what the album's called. I'm
Your
I'm I'm a,
birthday's
I'm a,
canceled.
Your birthday's canceled.
Your
That's it.
birthday's canceled.
I'm a bad journalist. But yeah, it's called Your Birthday's Canceled. And nah, go listen to it. It's crazy. That last song is one of my favorites too. Just the beat is nuts. You both win. All three of you win it. But like I bring up all of that because like, you have this like, you jump between so many different worlds and work with so many different people, and like you're just kind of like the glue binding all these different styles together, and that shows in the way that you especially with your solo projects, like the way, like how invested you are in like the direct to consumer model of fan interaction, like you like selling
Mhm.
your albums and DMs, and like really like building relationships with fans. Like that's always been something I've really admired about the way you move. And just because I'm curious, like for you, like what's been the value of kind of like building those relationships with fans by having that direct to consumer relationship? Because like not very many, I can only think of a handful of other people who really do it like that. It's starting to become more popular, but like you were kind of one of those like first adopters of that, at least in this like, like mostly digital context. So like what have you kind of
Yeah.
gained from that?
I get to really channel to see who's really invested in Vic Spencer and on an up and close and personal level. And it also, I'm also it been I feel like I'm benefited from having interactions with people that listen to my music. Like I really feel like I should be dialoguing with people that relate to my music in this matter, where they would trust me to send them an album. And in this scam world, you know what I'm saying, people are trusting me to send them an album. Like it just brings me closer to my fans. Like, you know, a lot of my fans, I tell them in DMs after they purchase the album, like, you can talk to me about anything. Like fans still hit me up. They ask me about, am I dropping any more albums like that? Sometimes I want to, sometimes I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mhm.
pulled the trigger on dropping one last year. I was supposed to drop one last year. I chose not to because I didn't want to make it like a thing. Like I'm gonna do this every year. At first, I thought about it, but I was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got to do that every year. But you know what I'm saying? I would love to do it again. Will I do it again? Yes. Because I feel like it brings me closer to my fans, and it also gives fans a sense of control. You know what I'm saying? Of actually where they could have control of. Because I feel like Twitter gives so many people different kinds of control. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people judge music off other people's tweets and stuff like that. But when you have like a consistent core fans that's buying your music and talking to you in DM, it just brings it closer, and you won't have to speculate if somebody's judging your album from a tweet. You know what I'm saying? They actually went to your DM. This is the only way you can get it. So it's actually action being put behind listening to Vic Spencer's music, And I think that's important as an artist to know that it's people that's willing to do that.
Right. Nah, I agree. It's really important to know that, because like at the end of the day, we're all people, and
Yeah,
like the artist is a person, and like the consumer is a person, and there's so
yeah,
many benefits. Like I mean, you already mentioned them, but like there's so many benefits to just kind of like bringing that wall down in that way, and just kind of being like, I'm a person, like I'm giving you a piece of myself. Like you're somebody
yeah,
like you're somebody who takes rap pretty seriously, which is, I feel like most people do, but like you really, like, this is like you're giving people a piece of you, and that's
yeah,
like that's sacred, just like to like trust someone in that way, and to kind of like hand wrap it and like deliver it to them after like a direct money exchange. Like that's, like there's a reason a lot of people do that, on top of the fact that y'all are getting all the money for it. Like it's more than just money, you know and like that
yeah,
creates
definitely.
like a bridge that is gonna be there, like, and like
Yeah,
somebody will follow you from a psychological cheat sheet to an Iron Wigs, or to a Spencer For Hire, or to another big ghost project, if y'all ever do another one of those. Like it's
uh,
like that's just like that's fire. Like that's a really beautiful model to have, I think.
yeah, yeah. I appreciate it, man. I just felt like I wanted to have a better way to connect with my fans, like to see it with my own eyes. Like you can see analytics on Spotify and all these streaming sites and stuff like that, but to really have a grasp value of being able to connect with your fans in that way, it just brings so much security in the situation. You know what I'm saying? I should never feel insecure about my music because I was able to connect with so many of my fans all across the globe. You know what I'm saying? And it's just
Right.
wonderful to be able to be in contact. It's just wonderful. Just imagine in the '90s if we could be have connections to Redman just like that. You know what I'm saying? What if
Yeah.
I'm that person? What if I'm that person for somebody? Like, damn, I ain't even know I can get this close to an artist. You know what I'm saying? And I'm making it just easy for artists. I mean, for a person to reach out to an artist. You know what I'm saying? And like people want to take pictures. Like, man, yeah, I seen Vic Spencer. I ain't want to take no picture with him though. Yeah, man, I'm not that kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? You take a picture with me. I even hold the camera. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So I just want to be able to be up close and personal with people that has that kind of attachment to my music, because I feel like not only do I owe that, it's just that when you're a musician, you're supposed to be bringing people into your world. Like that's one of
Right.
your occupations. Like, you know what I'm saying? You making this music, you bring people into your world. You know what I'm saying? And I'm being able to do that like in the live flesh. You know what I'm saying? Bringing myself into people's world. And it's just giving it open value. You know what I'm saying? People will take that and be like, yeah, man, I actually can see that Vic Spencer is a well-rounded, nice person overall, not just a good musician. Because he said, talk to his fans about anything, and dialogue back and forth with them, listening to stuff, listening to feedback, like those albums specifically, like the ones I sold like straight to fans, like I gave them like the control, like what like kind of like what the Donda 2 did, but like kind of like they can go in and give input about how the song is mixed, how the
Right.
song, what is this about? Like like they had up close control of how the music was how it sounded. You know what I'm saying? Not like what I said or anything, because what I said is said, but like say if a song had a choppy mix on it, like somebody that's a producer that bought my album can kind of like, yeah, man, I noticed it's so chopped. It's kind of like off, and we'll go fix it. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
and and bounce it, put it back in the files, and continue to go on. And that's exactly I mean, just having that connection with somebody that, you know what I'm saying, that's outside of your friends and stuff like that, that can pinpoint stuff out like that. And knowing that I care about detail and stuff like that and pinpoint stuff that I might have missed and just being able to go back and chime in on it, that's good gesture. That's good human traits. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just want to show that in the flesh in my music. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I take pride in wanting to be able to be that way for my fans, especially the strong listeners.
Right. And on top of that, you're also giving them like actual good product that, like, while you can fix it, it's like good music. I didn't like Donda too.
Yeah.
but I get what, like
I never heard it. I never heard it, but it's just like I
yeah.
was hearing like, you can go back and control how things sound and
Yeah, because of the
you know what
stem
I'm
player.
saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I was like, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I was on it way like years ago when I started doing these albums. Then I guess I just didn't have
That's
this little pill.
right, right, right. um, and like, and just like talking about this like intimacy, like that people have with your music, and just like your detail orientedness, that's one of the reasons that the intro track to this new project you got with Doc Da Mindbenda is still here really hit me, because it starts with like a medley of a bunch of your old songs.
Yeah,
And I thought that was a really cool detail. And I guess just like, how does it feel to be at that point in your career where you can do like that kind of retrospective and just kind of be like, hey, like this is what, like this is some of the stuff I've accomplished over the course of the last like almost a decade at this point. Like the only other people I could think of who did something like that was the last Gangstar album. Premier did that with like a bunch of their old songs on the first track. So like, how does it feel to kind of be in that position to be like, yo, I did all of this, like, just to be like a flex? Like, yeah.
yeah. That's crazy. Like the time that has been going by and my career blossoming and stuff like that. Like that's man, that just blows me away that I'm able to listen to myself in that capacity. Like, all of these songs and all of these years done went by. And I'm, still excelling. Like it just lets me know that I'm still here. Like the name of the album is still here. It just gives me that quick reminder, like, yeah, man, you came a long way. The consistency and staying with stuff, like you really lived out that. I really did. I really lived out like just showing the consistency and showing why I love it and that's why I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? And all those beats, all those songs uh was produced by Doc as well. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So man, it just showed how me and Doc, how far me and Doc came. Like I've been recording with Doc for 12 years now, and just just never put out an album together. And this is our first album, and we went through a lot of different changes. Like we both should have been discouraged by now. You know what I'm saying? Especially with like putting out a project, me and him, but we just kept at it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of different uh, loopholes we had to go through. A lot of different, the Mick Jenkins shit. I hate to go back to that. That Mick Jenkins shit kind of it got involved with that album. Like that, we worked on that album for years, not for as long as I've known him, but me and Doc, the album started off as an EP, then it broke off to an album, then the album direction changed. Once the album direction changed, a lot of different people got involved. Then the Dick Jerkins, Mick Jenkins stuff happened. People were choosing sides, and we had to go back to the drawing board. And it just we recorded. Me and Doc totally like we got like at least 100 songs. That's just like there's no exaggeration with that. We got
Right.
at least 100 songs. Like it's that crazy. Like for real, for real. Like we got 100 songs, and not to be able to put out an album with your brother who you've been recording with and I put out all these albums. You know what I'm saying? It kind of bothered me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's perfect timing. Still here. It's a time capsule of from the past 12 years of my career. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I was able to have that specific sound represent in this whole entire album. I think that this album is totally different from everything that I've done because of it being like a time capsule, and you get to hear different time periods, and it just like reminds me of all of the things that I endured listening to this album. So
Right.
yeah, man, shouts to Doc.
Yeah, nah, shouts to Doc, because like A, the beats are all great. And B, I had no idea that this was like a I had no idea that this was an album that kind of that took so long to make. So like you're saying like so are all the songs so are all the songs on this album like from different points in time, or were all of them made specifically for this point in time?
No, all different points in time. Like the
Okay.
lead single Contemporary section, I recorded that in 2016.
Okay. Okay.
And that's one of
Wow.
the favorite that's one of my favorite songs I've ever recorded. So
Yeah,
just
you
imagine
mentioned that.
just sitting on a song that you just think about in that light. That's that beat. I remember uh being around like a room full of females and all of that when I first heard that beat, and I didn't want to cry. So I cried in the inside. Like
Oh.
I wanted to cry because of that beat was just that raw. That's just
Oh.
man, it blew me away. And we were focusing the album on like contemporary art and contemporary jazz, and we trying to mesh Michelangelo into contemporary jazz. You know what I'm saying? We trying to mesh that situation up, and it was an idea of an artist by the name of Will Prince Art. He kind of got involved with me and Doc's project and kind of wanted was to steer in this direction of uh doing music in that light. And when a Dick Jerkin shit dropped, he kind of like, you know what I'm saying, chose the side, you know what I'm saying, and removed himself completely from the project. So me and Doc had to, go back to the drawing board, you know what I'm saying? And but that song, Contemporary Section, was probably like the only song that I took from that series of recording and
Mm,
put it on this album. So a lot of though, like the Green Light EP, some of that was our first project. Some of those songs are in between songs, like little snippets and stuff like that. So like different parts of the album is done in all these years. So of course, like the song with 38 Special, that I think we recorded that together last year. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
or the year before. Uh the Planet Asia, same year before, you know what I'm saying? The smooth with a V, that was like 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So we like man, a lot of these songs are not new. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these
Right.
songs are just like from time of me and Doc working on our album, and it never got done because of these extra players that was involved in our shit, kind of like
Right.
fucking up the groove. So it's kind of like, yeah, let me weave out all of this and, you know what I'm saying, make it a perfect album. Like, you know
Fire.
what I'm saying? I remember having getting Oh No on the song. Like I remember like, oh yeah, man,
That's one
this
of
is
my
gonna be the
favorites.
one.
That song is crazy. The
Yeah,
one Oh No on it. That shit is, yeah, he like when he
yeah,
raps, like when he rap, like everybody knows him as a producer, and like people might know him from like the Gangrene stuff, but like he doesn't
yeah,
get to rap super often. So like to hear him really cut loose, he went in. I love that
yeah,
song.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't mean to cut you
Thanks,
off. I just had to
appreciate
say
that
that.
love. Yeah, no,
Of course.
appreciate that love. Yeah,
Nah.
like just to have, just like, oh, I just wanted to finalize what I was saying about the Still Here. It's just like a
Right.
fat capsule of of Vic Spencer music in no kind of order or fashion, because music is art. You're supposed to just see it for what it is and make your own value from it. I feel like at the same time, Still Here is one of those, if you've been listening to Vic Spencer music for a while, you kind of like know, like, oh yeah, this is definitely not what Vic Spencer normally does here. Like this
Right.
is pure boom bap, pure hip hop at its finest. You know what I'm saying? Here on the Doc shit. Doc, it was my idea to have all of the drums out of the shit, rap for a while, and then bring the shit in. Then, you know, those are always my ideas, beat switches, and like I had a lot of ghost production on here too. Like a lot of the samples I brought to Doc. The joint with Planet Asia, believe it or not, man. Uh, I was cleaning up in the crib, man, and I was listening to a Klondike. It was a commercial, Klondike commercial came on, and it had that weird ass sound, and I'm like, I stopped cleaning up. Like, what the fuck is that? That shit sounds so cold right now. I stopped the TV, rewinded, and looked it up on YouTube, and took it to Doc, and the rest is history. That's
That's
exactly
hard.
how that blue man, that shit is cold. Every time I hear that, I just think about that moment how I was sweeping. Like, stop sweeping, like, damn,
Huh? Like,
fire, rewind that shit, rewind that shit. I love that. I love, I love having songs like that, and because it just remind me of that moment. I love that. I love that I had that moment. Like I was like totally distracted from cleaning up to
wow.
getting beats and stuff. So yeah, you know, I love it. I love that I was able to implement a lot of that. The indica piece of the go shit. I love that shit. God, I'm like, man, Joe Doc, you got to slow it down and just speed it up in this area. Yeah, I'm gonna body that shit. I couldn't wait to rap over that. Like I remember, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like, man, I don't even want credit for this because you did everything. You did everything. But I was just glad that I was able to have a hand in that regard.
Right. So so two more
Yeah.
questions. So two more questions before we wrap this up. So first, since this is a project that's kind of like made up of a bunch of songs from over the course of the last like several years, what's the most recent song on this project that came together that like needed to be there? Because I'm hearing a lot of like stuff that happened like last year and like 3 years ago, but like what's the most recent song on this project that made it on here that just had to be here?
The last song, the last
Mm,
song, still here. When I try to give like a little short version of how me and Doc been through a lot, and yeah, that song was recorded like I want to say like a half a year, 6 months ago.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, it's the Still Here joint. That the last song on the Still Here album. That was the one. That was kind of like the last. That was the last song for this album. Yeah, I believe
That's
that. Yeah,
crazy, and that's fitting
and it
considering. No, no, finish your thought. I'm sorry.
no, yeah, that's why yeah, that's what I felt like that was missing. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have a story. We didn't have like a you know what I'm saying. Why we call this Still Here? You know what I'm saying? But I can hear myself saying "Still Here" almost throughout this whole project on a lot of songs. I'm still here in some way, still here, some kind of crazy way. So you know what I'm saying. But I just wanted to elaborate it, but like give like a long, make a long story short type of vibe.
Right. And like considering that this album is kind of like considering how special it is to you and how special it is to Doc and just like this culmination of like this long friendship y'all have not had have like
Mm-hmm.
one thing I've always loved about your music from the beginning of my first interaction was like you always rap like you always rap like you got something to prove on every single project. Like you might be one of the hungriest rappers I've ever heard. Just like you just have that like spirit about you, and it really makes all your songs
Mm-hmm.
like it makes them hit that much more. Like you've been you've been in the game for almost 20 years at this point. You have dozens of projects to your name. You've collaborated with everyone from, Sean Price to Planet Asia to, like Stove God and like newer cats and like Earl Sweatshirt, like you were on the Earl beat with Denmark Vesey. Shout out to Denmark. That's family right there.
Shout out to Denmark. Yes,
always. Like, so, like you've accomplished so much over the course of this, particularly over the course of this last decade. And you just keep going. Like, it's just like, you just have this chip in your shoulder and it just like gives you energy, or chip on your shoulder rather. And it just like gives you energy and shit. And like, that's always something I've loved about your music. So like, I guess, like my very last question is just like, I've been thinking about this a lot because I just turned 30 and people kind of start to feel like, not necessarily that I do, but just like, I know like people in general, there's this whole notion in rap where people is just like, oh, like you're hitting 30 and, like whether it's like rap media or like rap, like period, it's just like, you're hitting 30 and you're still doing this and da 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 da. Like people start to have their doubts. Like even if you are successful, like, like people is like, oh, like you're still doing that thing, whatever. So like, like I guess just like, because I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, do you have any advice for artists or creatives who are kind of like stuck in that, like, or not stuck, but just like for people who aren't necessarily 20 anymore, but also, like who are just kind of like in between like young adulthood and quote unquote middle age, who still feel that creative itch and are just kind of like looking to just constantly looking to prove that they have something to bring to the table, because like just because like you're a really great example of someone who's like used consistency and built something really incredible for yourself. So yeah, that was real long-winded, my fault, but
yeah, no, I think I got it. My happy belated, by the way.
Thank you, bro.
My advice would be, man, continue to make things that you like. You know what I'm saying? Continue to make things. Like, I feel like the reason why I still do it at the age that I am is because I still like the music that I make like I didn't make it. I still like it. I still got the passion to create. I still got the ear to and the patience to listen to beats in a long period of time, to pick some of the greatest beats that I have, to rap over some of this stuff. That's something that I also take pride in. I feel like when you love it, like you don't do it. Like I be listening to my shit like, man, did I say that? I said that. Like, and really do it, like really listen and really love it. Like, nobody can take that feeling away from you. Nothing, no discouragement can ever take away from that feeling that it gives you. One of the songs, I'll be talking about how I was listening to a song, it just took me out in the space. I remember just getting chills listening to the beat that I was speaking of. Like that's the kind of, as long as I can still feel that, then man, that's I'm gonna never be discouraged. Not in that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna love what I do. I love it. I love how I sound. I love the progress that I'm making. Like, I don't have to be this, this standout mainstream artist. Like, I know I'm 40 years old. I just know that me being 40 years old is I'm the longest of all my peers. Just keep rapping. Like, everybody that I grew up with rapping, they don't even rap no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did an album, The Ghost of Living, with all my homies, and none of them niggas rap no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody that's on The Ghost of Living, not one artist on The Ghost of Living is rapping anymore.
So you're carrying the torch for you and yours in a way. Like,
I'm carrying the torch. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got a lot of people outside of myself to rap for. So I got a lot of years on my back, man. So I got to keep going.
Right. And just like, I think that's really beautiful. I don't really, like age has never really been a thing that I've thought of as like a deterrent or any sort of crazy shit like that. But I just know that like societal
Right?
pressure can be a motherfucker in that way, and it's just
Facts.
all
That's a
and
fact.
yeah, for real. And just like just to see people kind of like spit in the face of that and just kind of move in their own way and find their own success and just like revel in that, like that always does my heart good. And I
Hmm.
just, like I gotta really, like tip my hat to anybody just like doing that. And like you've been doing that forever. And like I don't have any more questions, but just, just like as someone, just like as someone who's been like on the side, or maybe not even on the sidelines, but just like who's been a fan for a while, just like thanks for the music.
Hmm.
Thanks for making me laugh and just kind of like bringing me into your world and kind of just like doing the, you're a world builder in a lot of those ways. And I've always admired that
Yeah.
about your music. And just like thank you for taking the time, and thank you for keeping in touch, and just like thank you for being an example of just like how to age well in this shit, because that's inspiring to me. So thank you, bro.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you just for lending your ear and doing what you do. You know what I'm saying? To get the music out there and just believing in the work and just lending your ear to my music is just a wonder that I could never, always be speechless and forever grateful for. Like, man, thank you. Appreciate you just for all these years just vibing with the God, man. That just lets me know that I'm on something. I'm on to something, and I'm gonna keep on going because it's guys like you that's gonna make sure people get the music and my presence is felt. So it's like a link chain. We're a link chain, man. You know what I'm saying? One hand wash the other, and then if we all put our hands together, then man, no, hey, the world could take you a lot of places that way. And it starts
Right.
somewhere, and it just starts with genuine people. So I just appreciate you for being genuine and vibing out to the Vic Spencer work for real.
Nah, man, absolutely. Like we all gotta share our popcorn with each other on occasion, right? Like
Yeah.
we gotta snack together when we can. So, anytime I could do that, I'm here
Definitely.
for it. So
Definitely.
thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.